right, guys. Hey, welcome to NothingisOB, South Texas Golf Podcast, episode number 45. Now, I always have a special guest, and I always say I'm excited, but the guest that I'm going to have on tonight, he's one that I've really admired from afar. I've seen him, the roles that he's played in his life. I know his dad, and I know his dad was a pretty tough guy. He's a proud graduate of Holy Cross High School here in San Antonio, Texas. He is currently the head men's golf coach at Our Lady of the Lake University here in San Antonio. He's been a pro at several different golf courses. He's still an aspiring player as he still plays in some of these Texas section qualifiers and Texas Opens. I think if you know anybody who's really good, a good guy, who's easy to talk to and down to earth, but has got a crazy golf game, and I know he's got a good story, I have on tonight Arnie Martinez. Hey, thanks for joining the show tonight, Arnie.
How we doing, Andy? Thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate it, dude. This has been like a year in the making, bro.
Yeah, man. It's been we've been playing tag for a little bit. You're a busy man, and unfortunately, I don't have as much time on my hand as I'd like. So it's good that we finally got to link up and get this going. I'm excited.
Oh, dude, I had so many people comment today and say a lot of good things, and I said, man, I'm looking for the dirt. I'm looking for the hoopla. I'm looking for the juice. I want the underlying stories on this guy. But I had a lot. I didn't know. Are you a basketball ref too?
Yeah, man. I've had my foot into a couple of different things growing up. I've refereed basketball. My dad is, if anyone knows my dad, he's an avid sports fanatic, and he either coaches or right when he gets done with that, he's on to refereeing, whether it's baseball, football, basketball. Man, if he can get involved in it, he's involved. So he got me into it young. I remember asking him when I was younger, like, Pops, I need some money, man. Things are getting rough in college and stuff. And he's like, well, man, he goes, I'm not going to give you a bunch of money, but I can show you where to get some. So that's kind of how the referee started for a little bit.
Yeah, because I had some guys, his name's Joe, and I had, I guess, Dimitri also tell me, they're like, the referee, the official? And I said, I don't know. I said, maybe. And they're like, his dad officiates too. And I said, Arnie's got his hands in several different things.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're a sports related family. If we're not coaching it or playing it, we're figuring out a way to ref it or get on that floor somehow. So we get it done.
All right, Arnie. So for a lot of the viewers and a lot of listeners out there, I know a little bit of your story. So why don't you tell us how you got into this game of golf?
Yeah, man. So my dad's was the reason pretty much why I got into this game. Golf, at least in the circles that I was in, golf comes across as a very unathletic sport. Football, baseball, basketball kind of take precedence, especially here in South Texas. So my dad, fortunate for me, grew up with some buddies that played golf, and he ended up getting into it a little bit professionally from the administrative side. He was part of the PGA section for a little bit, I believe, and he worked out at Northcliffe. So on spare times, him being a coach, I believe you understand that, with what you're doing over at the middle school, when you're not teaching and coaching, you get some of the summers off and stuff. And those are the big memories I had with my pops. He was coaching all the time. I used to see him coach all the time, but on the summers, that's usually when we go out there and play some golf. I used to trip out at how far he would hit it. I was 8-9 years old watching him hit what I thought was the farthest drive in the world. And, that's kind of how I got into it. So it was very casual at first. And then, the reason I stuck with it, man, truthfully, a lot of it had to do with my pops. He beat my butt all the time in any other sport that we'd play, right? He was faster, he'd throw harder, he'd make more baskets. But with golf, if I was able to get a tee spot and figure out a way I had way more of a chance to mess with him in that game than any other one. So that's kind of what kept me going, trying to get better, seeing my pops, he was pretty good at it. And the challenge kind of got to me. It was a single game, no teammates. You took all the glory, or you took all the blame. So although there's some good and bad things with it, I think that's kind of what really got me hooked.
Now, as you say that, I always wanted to beat my dad in any really sport, and now that we're playing golf, he's like, "Hey, how many strokes? How many strokes you giving me?" Right?
Exactly.
I just want to know, is it like that now with your dad? Is he like, "Hey, how many strokes you giving me?"
Yeah, man. I mean, he knows. He's a very well-rounded guy. He's given me a lot of good advice, and at this point, the only way we're gonna play with anything on the line is if I definitely give him a couple aside. He's no dummy, so he'll. On that note, I remember playing golf, and in order to get through a lot of these things, you had mentors, people that you look up to. He was definitely one of them, along with some other people that I was fortunate to come in contact with throughout my golf journey. And I remember asking him after one round, man, I was like, "Hey, Pops, I was doing this, what do you think about?" And he looked me in the eyes and he told me, "Man, you're at a different level than I'm used to being at. So, I think it's probably best that you go look for some advice from someone who could really help you." So him having enough awareness that, having my worries in mind and choosing to kind of give me that understanding was something that, although it was one of those things like a passing of the torch, he's always been kicking my ass, beating me down a little bit. And whenever, he did that, it was really cool to it was kind of like, wow, man, like my dad just admitted that I'm consistently better than him. So that was a personal goal that I always had, growing up. Hey, I don't know. I can't hear you.
There you go. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I like how it tells me. It tells me right here. I'm 41 years old. I do this all on my own, and so it reminded me right there. Hey, mute is on. I'm like, yes, thank you.
There you go.
And so I think for all of us who are always, competing against our pops, competing against our dad, that's kind of like the rite of passage. That's kind of like telling us when we've arrived, right? When dad knows that, hey, that you're superior, at least in this sense, right? In this area.
Right.
And that's always a good feeling. I know it is for me now, especially since my dad's like, "Hey, 5 on the front." And then after we readjust, my dad always says that, and then readjust.
That's
readjust.
it. We'll reconvene at the turn. We'll see what happens.
And so, hearing that, and knowing your dad and knowing you and the type of character you are, it kind of reminds me of the relationship I have with my dad, and just that golf was a big binder for us and improving our relationship. I don't know, did it do that for you and your dad?
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, nowadays, with the way the structure's set up, most families, you're working your tail off throughout the week, and you're probably working a little bit on the weekends. And, hard work was always something that he didn't necessarily tell me as much as he showed me. And this man was always busy. Me being younger, him being into coaching, I was a little guy watching him. I idolized the high school stars at Holy Cross, watching these older guys run around and play sports. And I thought they were just the coolest thing. And then I'd see them kind of revere my dad and yes sir, no sir. And so that kind of just put him at an even higher level. So it was cool. Anybody that's familiar with or directly related to Holy Cross understands that the high school that we grew up in, it's very tradition based, and it's pretty cool to see someone from 1995 talk about the same stories as someone from 2015, and they all can relate with having the same kind of coaches. Holy Cross was very fortunate for a while to have a lot of the same coaches in the coaching staff. So you grew up and with the same coaches that your older brother or older or uncle or family member had as well. So instantly you were bonded by those stories. Nowadays I see people at golf courses, out, before this pandemic and stuff. It's kind of an ongoing joke that we have with my wife and friends about how you can't go anywhere without seeing someone, and they'll always ask me first how I'm doing, and then right after that, how's your pops, man? How's he doing? Tell him I said hi. So he gets those, a couple times a week everywhere we go. So, but
Well,
yeah.
well, well, tell me a little bit about your journey there at Holy Cross, because as we spoke the other day, you did tell me that you were really the first group that was part of that golf program, and you were pretty damn successful at it too while
Yeah.
you were there. So tell me a little bit about how that all came to be, because you know what, I am older than you, and when I was in high school, we didn't have a golf program, and
Yeah.
now I'm freaking jelly now that for the most part a good amount of schools, they have golf
Yeah.
programs. And so how did that come to be there at Holy Cross?
Yeah. So, what happened was, like you just said, golf wasn't anything that was super popular, especially in urban schools. We're located in the west side of San Antonio, and there probably isn't a golf course within 8 to 10 miles of our school. So that's probably the last thing you thought that Holy Cross would have would be a successful golf team. It started with a couple of just golfers that wanted to play. They inquired with the school about how can they compete, in the local district, and try to compete for state. And it turned into, one of the first golfers that I remember was Billy Castro, right? He graduated class of '01. And then right after that, man, there was a couple of other guys, Martin Jimenez, Jose Flores, Damien, Damien, golly, Damien, you're going to kill me, but I forgot your last name, man. Andrew Flores. Our coach was Andy Flores, and he was very involved with, back then it was called SAJGA, San Antonio Junior Golf Association, and that organization was going strong, man. There was always people at the events. That was the chance where you could play with 6A schools and 4A schools. Anybody that wanted to play was able to come in on that. So Holy Cross was very fortunate that we had, within about 6 or 7 years, even after us, there was a really good set of guys: Sammy Vasquez, Tim Pais, Aaron Flores. We went all the way pretty much through '08. So pretty much from like 2000 to 2008, we were pretty solid. We won one state championship. My freshman year, we were competing with teams that you wouldn't think we'd have any business competing with. So we won the San Antonio Independent Classic. I believe we beat Austin Westlakes. We beat some other teams. So we were pretty hot for those couple of years. We had a really good team, really close guys. There's something I feel like that's super important in competitive golf. Everyone prides the sport in being an individual sport, but there is something about being a part of a team that I believe that it can boost it can boost your game. It can boost your focus. It can kind of get the adrenaline pumping. And there's always something when it's not just about you. And we were fortunate that we were able to have that type of environment. Coach Flores did a good job of pushing us, making us understand, that we were as good as we could be as long as we played smart and did what we were supposed to do. So he was infamous for those facial features, man. If you hit a shot, he wouldn't say anything, but you'd see him from about 100 yards away just staring through your soul because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So it was good times, man. Some of the best memories I have are at Holy Cross, being able to get out for golf tournaments and stuff like that. So we were very fortunate out there to have the group that we had during that time period that we had.
So right where we left off is that, you had some group of guys and you were talking about Billy Castro. And this makes a lot of sense as to why Billy's name sounds so familiar, because I've seen him around so many times. For some reason, I'm only seeing his name come up at the cash games for some reason. But
Yeah.
His name is always popping up over there.
Yeah, man. So he was one of the first guys to kind of break through at Holy Cross. I remember he was just an individual golfer. We didn't have a golf team, and if you've seen him hit a ball, he can hit it pretty good. So I think the school was behind him and tried to push for an individual spot at district, and then that turned into we had our coach was Andy Flores, and his sons Andrew and Aaron, I was fortunate to play with. Andrew was a little older than me and Aaron a little younger than me. But for those, it was like from 2000 to 2008, pretty much. I mean, we were just on the west side of San Antonio, and there was about 5 to 7 players throughout those years that were just very solid, and we were all really good friends. Just so I don't leave anybody out, man, it was it was Billy, it was Martin Jimenez, Jose Flores, it was Damien, it was me, Daniel Hinojosa, AJ, Sam Vasquez, Aaron, Tim. So around those times, we had about 8 to 9 guys probably that we knew how to hit a golf ball. During those years, we were beating teams that you probably would think we'd have no business beating. We won the San Antonio Shootout at the public school tournament. We ended up beating Austin Westlakes and some other big schools, Elkins from Houston. I believe they ended up state runner up that year and stuff like that. So we were fortunate. We had a really good coach. He worked his tail off to give us opportunities. A lot of our practices were, us either playing or practicing, and then there'd be times where he'd be out there picking balls at the range, so we could hit. It was just stuff like that. So a lot of examples of just hard work. It's hard to be messing around on the driving range, not focusing up when your coach is out there picking balls for you.
Where would y'all practice at?
He'd get us on everywhere. We jump around the city courses a little bit. We'd be out at Brackenridge. We'd be out at Almas. Sometimes we go to Cedar, and then Golf Club of Texas, Riverside, Pecan Valley. Rest in peace, man.
Damn.
Pecan Valley. And yeah, man, I mean, on that story, there was a time where coach was out picking balls, and a couple of us started kind of knocking off a little bit. And, I don't know what we were doing, if we were actually hitting dumb shots or we were just talking and kind of, slacking off. But he just drove the picker right up to us, turned that thing off, got out and been like, "Are y'all serious right now? Like, I'm picking balls and y'all are knocking off. Like, you better get to work." And, when he had those look in your eyes, anybody that knows Coach Flores, that piercing look into your soul, you better get it fixed and get it fixed fast. So
is that where maybe your coaching philosophy, or seeing that after your dad, as that being like your first kind of, this is how a coach is supposed to be, or this is how a coach is supposed to look and act?
Yeah, I mean, once again, man, Holy Cross did, it means the world to me, and I was very fortunate to have some really good coaches, really good examples. Coach Cedillo, Angel Cedillo out there, he's the principal out there right now. Yeah, great man, second dad to me. Coach Flores, my pops, Coach Eddie Moe, he's over in Harlandale right now, I believe. But just great coaches, great examples of what you got to do. And they don't take any BS. So it wasn't easy to beat around the bush. They were going to get in your face and let you know what's going on. So that's just kind of the environment I grew up in. Very much accountability based. Take care of your business. We have nothing to worry about. And when you have that tradition, like I said earlier, when it's from brothers to younger brothers to nephews to sons and grandsons, like it's the same stories, you walk in the same halls, those kinds of things. So there, when you get to Holy Cross, usually you've got people that that have already gone there, and you kind of show up already understanding about tradition and respect and putting God first and all that other good stuff. So very fortunate that I had some really good coaches to kind of show me what it is.
Well, I'm originally from Corpus Christi, and I went to a school. I don't know if you played them when you were in high school, but it was Incarnate Word Academy, IWA, there in Corpus. And it's out of the Incarnate Words, it's the only like co-ed, right? Because there's one in Houston, obviously one here in town.
Right.
And then in Corpus, we're the only co-ed out of the Incarnate Word high school system. And it was hard for me. It was tough. Like I would compare it to maybe like an Antonian or like a Central Catholic if it was co-ed. And I was on work study. I cleaned up 4 classrooms every day at the end of school just to make sure I was on work study. My Monsignor at my church, God bless him, Monsignor Michael Edas, he paid half of my tuition my senior year, and my aunt paid my other half. and obviously I was on work study there at school, and I had to clean up after my classmates. So like I being here and growing and coming and going to school at UTSA, I see. I compare the West Side to like my hometown where I grew up in. I lived in a little tiny house, a little 2-bedroom house that later we added on 1 bedroom. Still only had 1 bathroom, and 8 people lived in there. You know what I mean?
Exactly, right.
And so whenever I'm around Holy Cross or I'm around the neighborhood there on the West Side, it does. I said, you know what? If I grew up in San Antonio, I said this would be my home. This feels and reminds me so much of my home in Corpus.
Yeah.
And so I want to know, man. Tell me right now. Did y'all whoop Central Catholic when you were there?
All day, man. Go check it out, man. That's one thing. I've got friends that graduated from Central, but same thing with that tradition. There was obviously respect when you're off the field, but when you're on the field, man, we're trying to, we're going to work, and you are not our friend. So we won I played football my senior year in high school, and we Holy Bowl champions. We took I think they beat us my freshman year at district in golf, but every year after that we took care of them. So that was always the case, man. Sometimes it got to a point that it would kind of get in the way of playoffs and stuff because we were so worried about just whooping Central's butt that once we did it kind of, we got to make sure and stay focused on after that. So
well, I got a Kane's uncle right here. He said, I like it. He said, blue collar golf.
That's it.
That's what I want to hear.
I mean, I've got stories of, just a lot of going to golf courses, asking them if, they'd let me play, if I could pick up some balls later or help them fix divots. I helped pros back at, I don't know if you remember Woodlake Country Club.
Woodlake, over there, yeah.
Yeah, I used to go out there and pretty much just, once again, stuff that my dad taught me, go out there, let them know that you want to get better, you're willing to work. And, I don't think there was ever a time that someone told me no, as long as I was willing to be respectful and kind of a quid pro quo type of thing, I'll hook you up with some golf. Appreciate you coming out, trying to attempt to work. And I actually made some really good relationships like that. So all stuff that I learned either through my pops or through, people that were setting examples for me.
Well, doing a little bit of research on you, I was digging in the archives and stuff like that. I saw that you were also the city amateur champion. Is that correct? Yeah,
man. Yeah, I won back in 2013.
Yeah, 2013
at Republic Golf Course. Yeah.
Oh shoot! So not only that you worked there, but that's where you won your city championship.
Yeah, I've got a Republic and Pecan. I was fortunate to work at both of those. I was a cart boy at Pecan before it closed. In my opinion, that was the reason why I was able to get good enough to play collegiate golf. That golf course is still the best golf course in the city if it was still open. And I didn't get really familiar with the Republic until after college. But once I started to play a little better, that course used to always have my number, man. I don't know what it was. I could play 15 to 16 holes really good, and then there was always a couple holes that ate my lunch. So, for me to end up winning a city championship there and then end up full circle to be, behind the counter, working a city championship, behind the Republic working situation, it was, it's pretty cool. So it was really sad day when that place closed.
Well, shoot, man, you don't have a good track record of your last.
I know, man. I need to stay off the golf course.
Yeah, you do. You need to stay off.
We'll really put it to the test, and I'll try to get a job at TPC and see if that place stays open.
There you go, man. All right. So in talking about your decorated high school career, and then how was it when you went to college? Because I know in reading about you, I know you are I guess an alumni of Our Lady of the Lake because you did attend there, and then you went to Shriner.
So I was the order was actually Shriner, St. Mary's, and then Our Lady of the Lake. St. Mary's, damn. I was there for a small tenure. Man, I was jumping around, just mindset stuff. I thought I was better than I was. I thought that I should be playing somewhere bigger, all that kind of stuff. And now that I'm a little older, you look back on expectations and how you manage them and that kind of thing. And for me to legitimately be saying something like that, my numbers should have been a lot lower than what I was shooting. So just to make it clear, man, my high school career wasn't anything crazy special. I made all district, I believe, all 4 years. I think I made all state only 1 year, and it was really the summer from high school to college that I guess I just figured something out. I was at the golf course 7 days a week for about 3.5 months, and super excited that I got an opportunity to play college, or in college, and I worked at Pecan Valley, so I played that golf course every day or hit balls out there, and it was single-handedly responsible for improving my game. So ball striking got better, my distance control with the putter got better, and as you know, when you're playing golf, man, little things like that, drops into hazards or three putts are kind of the fat that you try to cut when you're trying to get it nice and effective. So those are the things that kind of got better. My freshman scoring average was right about 72.4, I believe, at Shriner. That allowed me an individual bid to a conference, and then after that, man, I mean, to be honest, I struggled a little bit in college. I was a very mediocre player. Uh, my last collegiate round was 80, and I was fortunate enough to be playing with with a really good team, and we still did well, but it was one of those things where my life up to that point was just school, golf, practice, golf, that kind of stuff, and when you're done, it was a real rude awakening, kind of slap in the face reality check that it kind of just set me off for a little bit, man. It was about probably a month where I didn't felt really uncomfortable. All of a sudden, buckets of balls are 10-15 bucks a pop, and $35 to go play 18 holes. And being 21, 22 years old, man, I mean that's just something I couldn't do. So I mean, I did stuff I wasn't proud of. I'd try to sneak onto ranges. I'd be hitting people's balls that they left around. Picking up stuff. I mean, what that process made me realize is how much I love the game and how much it had done for me. So something changed. My level of urgency really changed on the practice forum. My practice sessions became a lot more focused, and all in all of a sudden I started playing better, and end up I won the city a year after I got done with school. So I really think that reality check of life without golf made me value golf that much more. So once that happened and I saw a little bit of success, the support that I received was overwhelming, and it gave me the courage and the confidence to turn professional. The I proceeded to get my butt kicked for the first session of my professional career, just learning. That's one of the things I talk to our players about. If we don't win, then we learn. There's no losing. And with golf, the guys that are really good, not only do they learn, but they're able to self-correct faster than other golfers. So, I was fortunate to have family that supported me. There was a lot of people that I knew that, in my opinion, were better than me. But, life happens. You got to pay bills, and you got girlfriends and boyfriends and, family members that need to do this. You got your own dreams, and anybody that's chased the PGA Tour knows how, you're going to be sleeping in your car a little bit. You're going to be cutting meals. You're going to be maybe playing with the same pair of pants that you played with the day before, something like that. I mean, it's a struggle out there. So it really puts into perspective where you're at. And, struggle is no place where anybody wants to be, but I think that everybody can attest that, the best lessons are learned right in the thick of that struggle. So I learned a lot, and, it was funny because I'd be out there playing, getting my butt kicked, and then I come back from money games and be kicking butt. And it's kind of like, dude, how am I missing cuts out here? And then I'm shooting, 65, 66 out here, but there's a different level of competition, and when you're playing with guys that were on and off tours, and, I was fortunate I've been, in my career, I've played with a couple of PGA pros, and, I've been able to play and be in contact with some other local guys that have, Mr. Ogren and
David, yeah.
yeah, David Ogren. He's a great guy. I played a couple rounds with him, picked his brain a little bit. Just guys that have been
Texas Open champ right there, former Texas Open champ.
Took Tiger, took Tiger in the same field. That's if that was me, I'd have that tattooed on my forehead, maybe.
Well, don't worry. He lets everybody know, though.
Hey, heck yeah, I would too. I would
too.
Yes, sir. But
I think that's the thing. A lot of people want to know, because you know what, for guys like me, who just love that sundown golf and who really want to be in your shoes, but you've walked a good amount of miles in your shoes.
Yeah.
You told me about that you told me about where you're playing with your last $2,500 in the bank,
yeah.
or is that somebody sponsored you in, and or you're playing $20 a hole or $50 a hole, and you got $5 in your pocket,
right?
And what is that like? I guess, what are those feelings? And like you stated, when you're playing in a Monday where you're trying to play for a Monday qualifier, when you said you missed making the cut by like 2 strokes or by a stroke or two, what's the difference in being in those high cash games and then trying to make the cut and trying to get on, in at a PGA event?
Yeah, once you get to that higher level, it really just comes down to putting. It's kind of cliche, but when you get to that level, everyone can hit the ball. Everyone can hit fairways and greens. It's just a matter of who's going to make more putts. And with me, if you know me or if you've played with me, unfortunately, that's one of my catalysts. When I putt good, I play really well. And there's times where, I'm striking the ball just like I want. But if the putts aren't going in the hole, it actually becomes more of a complex that you keep hitting shots so close or great opportunities and you're not converting. So, that lifestyle, it's very much like the highest type of roller coaster drop you can have in golf for that sake. There's some people that they don't want to go to the big roller coaster because there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of pressure. If you've ever been at the,
it feels good though. It feels good when you're at the top. It feels good.
If you can learn if you can learn to work, and thrive in that environment, man, it's going to put you at an advantage. But one situation I noticed, it was a couple years back when Charlie Hoffman won the VTO, and I was following that group, and I remember the last hole, he pretty much knew he had to birdie that hole. The scoreboard's there. He's in the last group, and I remember noticing that, first it was me. It was like, oh my God, man, whew, here we go, man. This is what you talk about when you're a little kid. And you start to get nervous. And I remember thinking, looking down the line, and everyone else looks like they're, just waiting to see. It's like, man, is he going to hit it? If not, and, if the people who are watching that have no stake in this are nervous, imagine the environment that the person who has to actually execute the shot, and not only execute the shot, but have, world-class caliber of golf. And so what happens is, anybody at the highest level, they prepare to the extent that it calms them in pressure situations. I'm an avid believer in falling back on your preparation whenever you go through something. There's times, I don't know if anyone can relate, but there's times where I'll make a 4-foot putt in a big tournament or a qualifier, and I'll be on the next hole ready to hit, thinking what just happened? I don't even remember that putt going in. You just kind of, sometimes the pressure gets to you, you black out, whatever. But if you're preparing properly, I'm also very confident that you'll go through the motions. Pre-shot routine, in my opinion, is the backbone to a good golf game. And if you're going to perform under pressure situations, you practice to be in pressure. And if you're going to succeed once you're there, you've got to really have a sound pre-shot routine and be confident with yourself. So that's kind of, that in my opinion, that's pretty much the make or break is the putting. Is you got to putt good, and you got to be able to control your emotions. So the amount of emotions that you deal with when you've got that much money invested in yourself, and all of a sudden you see a ball take off towards the water, or you see a ball hit the cart path and it might be going out of bounds, man, your heart is living and dying with where that ball goes. So it's hard to maintain perspective when you're grinding like that, but the ones that succeed are able to grasp some type of perspective in that process. So nothing I would give up. I think my golf game now, I'm more confident as a player now with less practice than I was back when I was younger, or in college playing every day. But it's just because of what I've learned, and yeah, falling on your strengths, trying to avoid your weaknesses, and then when you're practicing, you try to improve your weaknesses to where you can have as least amount of weaknesses as possible when you're on the course. So just preparation, man. That's really what it is. The guys that are good, they live, breathe, and sleep it, and they're able to execute when their time is called. So that's the beauty of golf. You could be 70 or you could be 12. If you shoot the score, you're in. So that's
Well,
the cool part.
why don't you give us where has your game been as you feel that it was at its highest of its highs?
Yeah. So
like what tournament or what moment where you're like, okay, this is it. I can do this. You know what? I need to be able to come here again. Like
yeah.
what tournament or what situation did you have that feeling?
So from an amateur standpoint, winning the city, I know everybody always says, right, like, man, in my era we had this or we had that, but I was very, the people that played in the time that I was playing, those city championships, man, we had some guys that could go, and collegiately, all of the college players were playing. If you were local from any surrounding university, you were playing. People came from out of town to play, and then you were playing with the older gentlemen that money gamed it and stuff like that. So everybody was in it to win it. And when I was able to win that city championship, that was the first big win for me that gave me a lot of confidence. And then to have the support that I had after that, it was just really like, all right, like that kind of encouraged me to practice at a higher level and, kind of get to that point. When I turned professional, probably the round or the day that got me feeling really confident, I was fortunate to get through local qualifying for the US Open. God, I don't remember. I think it was 2018.
Where was the local qualifier? Was it either, I think it's Sonterra or Cedar Creek, or where?
So check it out. So me and my wife, we were thinking like, you always do it here. At that time, it's so funny, full circle. Right now I'm with On Par at Cedar, but me and Cedar have like a love
hate
more hate relationship. And she's come out on top more than I have whenever we go face to face. So at that point, it was kind of like, man, it was at Cedar that year, and it was like, I don't want to do that. So we ended up getting a date in Aledo, Texas, which is right outside of Dallas, and it ended up being the local qualifier that Tony Romo played in. So it was the year that Tony Romo was trying to qualify for the US Open. So we played. I was a couple hours ahead of him, but it was cool to see. Anybody that's been around Thursday qualifiers or local qualifiers, there's no fans. It's usually just the players and close people around. But that day, ESPN cameras were there and Golf Channel cameras. There was 400 or 500 people, in the stands looking at, or in the gallery watching. And it was kind of like, it's like, what the heck's going on? But then it's like, oh, well, Tony Romo's here, and everyone was there to watch him. So it was crazy. In the middle of the round, he ended up having an eagle at some point, and I was on the opposite side of the course, and I heard the roar. It was cool. I've never experienced that. I haven't had the.
You haven't been a part of those galleries.
That big of a gallery to hear that from a couple hundred yards away. So that was cool. But that was the round that really made me believe that you can do it. Because that's really what it is, man. A lot of these guys can go, but the beauty of golf, you can crap talk all you want and you can tell them that you're going to do this, but when you get on top of that golf ball, it's you and that ball, and you got to figure out a way to get it where you need to go. So it's always good to see it manifest, the practicing that you've been doing. I think everybody that's at that level believes they can do it, but there's a difference between believing and really doing it. So
Well, you've played in a good amount of these qualifiers and these sectional events. I know, and you're recently coming off of you and your partner, was it LC Kim, right?
Yeah. Me and Casey Lim. Casey
Casey Lynn.
Lynn,
There you go.
yeah, that's
Casey
my
Lynn.
man.
There you go.
Yeah, so
And
we
y'all are coming off of a 2-man win, right?
yes sir, yeah, part of the PGA section. So both of us are PGA associates. We teach on our off time, and he's a great player, you know, and I can hit it around when I need to. So we were fortunate to both play well that day, and we were at Austin Country Club. So great venue,
Damn. Hey,
beautiful golf
that's
course.
where they're at right now.
Yeah, they're
That's where
there
they're at
right
right now
now.
at the Dell.
That's right. So I had never played there, and
It's a quirky golf course, man.
it is, man.
It's
It really
weird.
is. Two different nines. Looks like you're on two different parts of Texas. So, but it was great. Yeah, it's always good to see the ball go in the hole, man. That's really what you're going for in the end.
Now, now, those are some of your highest of your highs. You know, being there and
Yeah.
playing in the sectionals when Tony Romo was there. Now, what's one of the lowest of the lows?
I mean, that senior year, finish your college career with an 80 was pretty rough. I had my whole family there. My then wife, or my now wife, then girlfriend, was there,
Where was that
and
at?
man, I believe it was Water Chase Country Club, just outside of Dallas, I believe. And you know, it's one of those things. I'm very fortunate that I've got a family that supports the crap out of me, and probably more than they should. And you know, whenever they're behind you, it puts a little bit more. The wins are that much better, but the losses are you know, they hurt that much more. So they always make it better, and they tell you it's going to be okay. And you know, in the end, you know, I'm in a fortunate position to have people around me that love me, that support me. But you know, when you're out there playing golf, man, that's really what you're trying to get you're trying to get that score that you're shooting for. So to finish that way was really bad. And then you know, turning professional, I had some people that even told me that, you know, I don't know if you're ready, man. You know, maybe you should keep saving up and keep toning your game. But me being the cocky kid that I was, it was like, dude, I'm ready. Like, let's go. And then you get out there and you get your butt kicked, and it's like, whoa, like small. You know, I was the big fish in a pond. Now I'm the tiny one in a big pond, and all these guys can, you know, they're killers. So um, every shot was going down the fairway, every putt's going to the hole, and you know, these guys are good. So it forced me to understand my weaknesses. And there were nights, man. There were nights calling friends and calling family, tearing up, and you know, you don't know what the heck's gonna happen, and you keep losing money, and then it gets lonely out there. You know, my first stint uh, was 6 weeks by myself. You know, the second stint was about 8 weeks by myself, and you know, just practice round, tournament round, travel, practice round, tournaments, travel, food, hotel, go to sleep. I mean, it's very much, you know, it's very by yourself, and pretty, it gets lonely. So you got to learn how to manage your emotions and figure out a way to not allow that to get in the way of your play.
And I think that's a different type of golf than a lot of us, a lot of people who really follow me and who really are keep up with my show and who my show is based for. You know, is that we're out there having a stogie, having a beer, you know,
Yeah.
enjoying the nine. You know, you ain't doing none of that crap. You know,
Yeah.
you're out there, you're freaking, you're grinding. You know, you're grinding. And like you stated, you're wearing probably the same pants you wore maybe the two previous rounds.
Yeah.
And you're dreading maybe a 6-hour drive back home or to the next place. What kind of how that has to mess with your mentality on your golf game?
Oh, it does, man. I mean, I was just talking to it. I was today. I caddied for one of my best friends at the pre-qual. Today was a pre-qualifier for the Texas Open, and
where was that? Where was that at?
that was at Comanche. Well, it was one
Comanche.
of the sites. There's multiple sites, but Comanche was where my buddy played, and you know, it's crazy because we were just talking about it. He's a full-time professional. He still works. He's from El Paso. He works at a golf course, and you know, I remember being in the grind full time. And it was, I mean, people, you know, it's almost like some days you weren't even happy to be out there because you're not playing well or you're focused on what you're doing wrong. And, you know, a little bit more perspective now, not being able to be full time and watching guys that are still able to play. It's like, you know, if you don't, what you and your friends do, or people that, you know, that you said that kind of make up your following, a lot of what y'all do though needs to be incorporated into what the professionals do to be successful. You know, you got to enjoy yourself. You got to be thankful that you get to chase your dream and wake up with a purpose to go play golf every day. And sometimes that gets lost with, you know, missing cuts and hitting shots that you want. I mean, golf is such an imperfect game, and the statement that I always tell my guys, we got to strive for, and guys and girls, I gotta clear that up too, man. Andy, I'm not the men's golf coach. I'm the men's and the women's golf coach
Oh
at Our
shoot!
Lady of the Lake.
I was reading that. I was reading that, and it just said men's. It said
will
men's.
kill me if I don't clear that up.
Okay, I'm glad you cleared that. I'm glad you cleared that
Our
up.
Lady of the Lake. Yes, sir.
I'm glad you cleared that up, because as I was looking at that, it said men's coach, you know, and it says Arnie Martinez, and so I'm like, okay, well, good.
Yeah.
Hey, so
Yeah.
good. I'm glad, because I do see, and I was wondering, I was going to ask you about that, because being out there at Golf Club of Texas all the time, I do see y'all from afar. You know, I did run into you that one day, but again, as a coach, hey, I like to watch from afar, but I like to let the coaches do their thing, you know, because when you're there, when you're in that moment, you can say hi and, you know, and shoot the shit a little bit, but at the same time, you know what, you want to make sure your kids know that, hey, that you're there for them.
That's
you know, that they have your attention, and that even though they might be 18, 19, 20, 21 year olds, that still that, hey, you know, hey, Coach Martinez cares, and you know what, he's there doing his job, you know, and and so that's why I always kind of see y'all from afar. And I'm over there, my dumb ass, I'm over here texting Kane, hey man, are y'all on the course right now? Expecting him to answer me back, and he's like, 6 hours later, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very plain and simple. You know,
I was gonna say he knows he'll be dealing with me if he answered that phone in the middle of our round. So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I got a question right here from John Anderson, and I know we'll get here. I know the answer. It says, you mentioned teaching on your off time. Where do you coach other than the school?
Yeah, so I just recently joined On Par Golf, which is a great great organization that I'm very proud to be a part of. They base out of Mission Del Lago. The head guys are Ray Garza and AJ. He's a PGA caddy, and you know, we've been in contact off and on through the years. Ray's done a lot of good stuff. I mean, it's hard to be in the golf industry around San Antonio, especially urban San Antonio, and not be aware of On Par and what they're trying to do. So we're doing everything we can to try to spread golf to, you know, anybody who's open and willing to try it. It's a beautiful game, and you know, nothing really good has happened from this pandemic, but from the golf standpoint, you know, golf has gone up substantially. I think I saw 43 to 46% of an increase just in this last year alone, which is astronomical. So a lot of good stuff for golf, but yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those things that we're at Cedar Creek now. I've been fortunate enough to that's where I'm going to be at. So we give lessons out there. I'm one of the instructors along with a couple of others, Christy Cano and Billy Castro as well. So
dude, I was telling Ray, man, that's a star-studded lineup, dude. I was just like,
we'll take
damn.
it,
I just because I think I saw a week or two ago, I saw that you know, Ray had posted about you and Billy, and I was just like, oh crap. I said, damn, those are two big bombs in the city. You know, in the city here in San Antonio, I said, y'all are very well-known guys here in the city. And then I saw last night Christy's name on there, and I was like, damn, man, Ray's full of surprises.
Us up, man. He's scooping us up.
He's full of surprises, man.
And go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No. You, okay, I'll go. And speaking and just kind of texting back and forth with Ray, I said, man, Ray, that's great, because if anyone knows Ray, and I told you this the other day, and I told Ray this today. I said, when I spoke to you the other day, it was like I was speaking with Ray Garza, and the thing is, I think that's a big compliment.
Yeah,
because
yeah, man, he's a great guy.
I think a lot of people that have worked with Ray and that know Ray, and that I've had a chance to really like get to know him, can see why he is doing some great things, especially on the South, and now bringing it to the North. Thank you, Jesus, because I live over here by UTSA. I graduated from UTSA. You know, look, I got some rowdies back there behind me. They're always there, man. They're always there, man. And I'm thankful because I live real close to Cedar, and I know what Ray's done at Mission. I know he's going to really help and do for the North Side and do for just golf in San Antonio. I think
Yeah.
Ray's been there's a problem, and with people not knowing the game. And I was reading today on one of the San Antonio Facebook groups about a 6-hour round at Cedar, and it's ridiculous out there right now because there's a lot of newcomers for golf, and they don't know the etiquettes, they don't understand. Yeah, and you know what? This is the time. This is the time right now, and I think Ray and y'all are like a big part of the solution. I really do.
And I appreciate that. I know Ray does too, man. That's really all we want. We're trying to spread the game. We're trying to we're trying to increase the amount of golf that's being played in San Antonio, and we'd love to keep the tee sheets full and keep those complaints down, right? And if we spoken
like a true golf professional, right there.
If we can do that, now we're going to be in a good spot. So we're super excited. I know I speak for all the instructors over there at On Par that us being able to utilize Cedar Creek, and it's kind of like an untapped market out there. We're already getting a lot of attention. We're trying to spend as much time as we can out there to give consultations and just kind of make people aware that this is what we're doing. We're fortunate to be able to utilize TrackMan, which is, in my opinion, the best monitor that's on the market right now. So it's a $25,000 piece of equipment that PGA Tour players use, and they use it to tone in their yardages and distances and all kinds of stuff. So what that piece of equipment's able to do is nothing short of amazing. So it's hard not to get better when you have an instructor that knows how to kind of get you where you need to go while using that, because what that does is just provide more views that possibly an instructor's naked eye wouldn't be able to identify. So when you see those numbers, man, one thing about golfers is that what you think you're doing with a golf club, you're probably not doing how you think you're doing it. So it's cool to get kind of some reaffirmation about what's correct and then what you're doing and how to get there. So that's really what we try to do, man. We try to educate our clients, and hopefully they leave us knowing more about golf, more comfortable on the golf course, and more comfortable about how to hit a golf shot. So.
And I think as being a player and being an athlete, something that your coaches would always reiterate to you, and maybe you do as a coach now, hey, the little eye in the sky doesn't lie, right. and so especially with TrackMan, you have those different camera angles,
That's
and you're
right.
like, and I think as a golfer, and me being a hack golfer, I hate to look at myself swing, man. I dread it.
Yeah,
I hate
man.
it. And I was over there at Ray's. I was over there at On Par Golf in Mission, and Ray's like, "Let's get you on the simulator, man. Let's get you on there. Let's get you on there." And I'm like,
nah.
No. But I was going through some rough parts, right? I just went to my buddy Ben's, over there at Polo Grounds.
Hey,
yeah,
that's
Ben's
the
character.
man. If I can plug, there's a couple of people I wanted to plug today, and Ben Carricker is one of those guys, man. He's
I always
the best
talk about
club
him.
fitter in the city, dude. If
Thank
anybody's hearing,
Thank you.
if anybody's on here watching, go to him. He, in my opinion, he's overworked anyways. This guy will work his tail off for you.
You don't need the business.
But he's the best guy, man. I mean, since I met him, he's been hospitable to me. He's taken me in as a buddy, and golf's expensive, and to have someone like him to help you, and I trust him with everything. I mean, I'll get my clubs from whenever I order new sticks. I just take them to him. His word, he always tells me, he goes, "You trust me?" I was like, "I got you, man. I'm gone for 2 days, and I'll be back, and I know they'll be good to go." And he produces every time, man. So he's the best guy in the city, hands down.
No, he is, and I think the thing is, right now, they were talking about it the other day. I was reading an article about is the golf shops or the golf superstores, are they dying off? And it's tough to say because, there isn't a big explosion of this game right now. Like you said, it's up 43 to like 46%. And I think during the COVID times, people have heard me say this numerous times on the show, is that it's one thing that you can do with your friends or do outside and still feel okay to be out and about.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I think for me and for guys like you, because I got that feeling from you, Arnie, that it's not just a profession. It's like it's in your soul. It's in your blood. It's in it's part of your livelihood. That it's not just a means to an end.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I've been very fortunate once again, things that I tell my players, don't disrespect this game. And if you are going to disrespect it, don't disrespect it while I'm around, because to me, it's more than a game. I wouldn't be where I was. The lessons that I've learned, people that I've met, places that I've traveled, the jobs that I currently have, everything is golf related. So golf is a huge part in what I do and how I go about my business. So yeah, it's definitely more than a game for me. And I try to emulate that throughout my teaching strategies, throughout my coaching strategies. The coach I try to be is just the coach that I always wish that I had, right? And don't get me wrong, I've had great coaches, but there's always a strive to be that perfect coach, right? So you need to be, hard when you need to and soft when you need to. And there's no as much as golf is important and school is important, the relationships that I have with some of my players that I've coached in the past, I've got pictures at my wedding of like 4 generations of players that I've coached at Our Lady of the Lake. And that was 2018. So, since then, I mean, the team that we've got right now and the guys that we've recently had, I mean, there's not a guy or girl that's been on my teams that you're instantly family. I instantly love you. And you need help, I got you. And if you're messing up, I'm going to check you. But if you need help, I got you. And so it's just what I try to do throughout the day with whoever I'm with, whether it be recruits or people I'm teaching at the range or coaches. I mean, players that I'm coaching. So, lead by example type of thing. And in doing so, they make me better. There's times where maybe I want to slack off or, don't not to get it misconstrued. I'm never trying to let my players beat me whenever we play. So I take a lot of pride in trying to stay on top whenever we're playing. So it's a little different thing with me as well. I play maybe a little bit more than a normal coach would, but I'm fortunate enough. I think, just my personal opinion, but it's hard for kids to listen to people teach them golf if the kids can beat the guy that's telling them what to do, right? And it kind of, I don't know what it is, especially when you get to better golfers. I think any parent on here or even kids that are watching, they think they're right. They think they know it all. And it's hard to really get told and understand that you need to change unless you're seeing someone do what he's telling you to do. And so that helps.
And I'm sure it has to, because I've been coaching for about 15 years, and I'm not the spring chicken that I was once. I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'm over here running the veers. I'm running the fake handoffs. I'm showing the kid how to properly run the offense, right?
Little stiff arm here. Stiff arm there.
Yeah. But like, I'll bust out, about a 5-yard gain, and then they'll catch me. But I'm not that guy anymore, So luckily enough, I've had some of my former players come back, and they know the system. Like the system hasn't changed, and it's just like, oh, this is where you want to go. You want to hit this hole, hit this gap,
right?
And you know what? But the kids want to see. They do. They want to see it. Hey, okay, this coach knows what he's talking about. He's making it work,
right?
And so it seems like. And speaking with one of your players, and we'll get to that right now.
Yeah, we will.
It seems like that's the kind of coach you are. You're just like, again, like another Ray Garza. You're a relationship builder, and it seems like you've been able to do that wherever you've been. Because I talked to Shane that was with you at Republic. I talked to Ben about you. Just Kane. Just to get a little bit, just to know a little bit more about you that I don't know. And everyone says that you have a really good job of, hey, when it's time to be a buddy, it's time to be a buddy. But when it's time to be a dad or to get on my ass, he'll get on my ass.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what's made you successful. And it's making your kids successful too, because I'm going to tell you, not a lot of people, when they say, oh, I'm a Laker, I was like, what the hell is a Laker? Our Lady of the Lake, Our Lady of the Lake. Right. And I'm like,
yes, sir.
I always tell them, I said, is that a real school? I was like, is that a real school? But you know what? I'm gonna tell you, these past several years, and I think it kind of goes to top to bottom. Hey, man, y'all are making strides in baseball and basketball.
Yeah.
The facilities are looking nice. As I've been over there, and it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that because you know what, y'all are on the west side, and you know what, and y'all are getting some good talent in the city and then outside of the city as well. And I think people need to know about y'all.
I appreciate that, Andy. Yeah, I mean we're not a D1 program. You know, we're not anywhere close to that when it comes to budget or recruiting or that kind of stuff. But what I do tell all our recruits is that I'm going to bust my tail for you. And, you know, what I want is hard workers and guys and girls that keep a positive outlook on things and understand that, you know, as long as we're getting better collectively every day, little by little, that's all we can ask for, you know? So, we're not gonna get $150,000 increase if we win nationals, you know, or anything like that. But every year, start of our yearly meetings, we set some goals. Every one of them has to do with winning a conference championship or possibly competing for a national championship. And then we get into try to get them to a good spot with academics, you know, and personal stuff. You know, it's hard to have personal issues, whether it's family related or friends or girlfriends and boyfriends have issues with that, and then be able to just cut it off before you get on a golf course, you know. So your mindset and your mentality with how you go about your life off the golf course will eventually affect what you do on the golf course. So, you know, it's once again just stuff that I've learned, man. I mean, I've been fortunate to kind of go through the muck. You know, I definitely didn't go through the easy way playing professionally, and the couple of, I mean, even when I won the city, man, you know, I was 3 groups back. I was, I think, 4 or 5 strokes off the lead going into the last day. And, you know, I just muscled out. I think I was 4 under for that day, and it was a pretty windy day, and I was able to hop skip everybody else. So, you know, it's just one of those never give up things. You know, I try to pride our players, and I mean, there's nothing cooler than watching someone just outwork everybody. And even if they're not playing good, or even if they're not whatever, you never see them let up or her let up, and they give everything they got, and there's admiration that comes with that. So how I grew up, you know, to the extent that I like to wear black shoes when I play tournaments, I grew up with our coaches telling us that we wear black because it's a work shoe. And you know, back then, people that were, you know, locksmiths or you know, construction workers and stuff, they wore black shoes. You know,
I love that.
so you go to work. And so when we'd put on our black shoes in high school, it was like, all right, boys, like it's time to go to work. And that was just something that we take. And you know, when I was younger, I mean, even right now, man, I love our team. I think that our golf team is one of the best in the NAIA. And then our girls, unfortunately, we don't have enough at the moment right now to fill a full team. But next year we sure as hell will. And you know, the sky's the limit for them as well. So our goal is to outwork everybody. We're not always going to be better than everybody, but we can choose to think more efficiently than everybody, and we can work harder than everybody. And we just try to do that, man. Some days it sucks, right? I mean, some days we're out there for 4, 5, 6 hours on a Saturday, you know, when they could be hanging out with their friends and stuff. But what I try to make them understand is that right now, the memories I look and think back on are those days when my coach made me go practice instead of, you know, you can always mess around with your friends. You can always, you know, hang out and watch TV or do whatever. But they're, you know, they're very fortunate to be in a position where they're, you know, they're able to play golf, man. They get able to travel. They're, in my opinion, they're sponsored. That's what I always look for, sponsorship. And all these guys and girls, they're sponsored, man. So they just need to take advantage of it.
Well, one of your top players who's rated the number 2 men's golfer in the NAIA, Kane Ibata, a fellow San Antonio City amateur champ, right?
That's right.
Like yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, he's your top dog. And I had him on the show several shows ago.
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, well, who's your biggest rival? Like I said, who's your biggest rival on the course? And he said, right now, it's my coach, Arnie Martinez.
Yeah.
And I was like this. I was like, damn. I was like, God. He goes, yeah. And what did he say? You tell me. You know it a little bit better. What did he say?
What I remember, well, first off, I was completely surprised. You know, Kane isn't one to brag on himself much. So you know, no one really knew about the podcast. So I actually heard from you. Well, I'm saying I didn't know that he was on the podcast. I didn't know that he was your guest. So I keep up with the podcast, so I check it out. And then I scrolled by, and it was like, oh man, like that's Kane, right? So I wasn't even aware of it. And when he said that, I was watching kind of like, you know, but no, man, Kane's a hell of a player. And, me and him go at it. I think, he's got the skills to where if he's playing really, really good golf, he's hard to mess with. It's just the case. And what I take a lot of pride in is trying to keep his environment a little stressful to force him to kind of compete. Because, when he gets to conference and nationals, those are the people that he needs to be comfortable playing against and beating. And in order to do that, he needs to constantly feel that pressure. So me and him, we like to square off a little bit throughout the year. Not too often, not as often as I would like, but yeah, me and him go at it. So I'm gonna be clear though. He said that we go back and forth. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say that I go forth and he goes back.
He goes back.
Okay. But
all right, right here.
He is a city champ, so I gotta give him respect.
I got his uncle right here saying, ask him who wins, him or Kane. So you know what? I think you answered the question right there. Okay.
For that specific answer, you can ask Kane.
I like that. But you know what? He is a top dog, and
he's a bad boy, man. He's a bad boy.
He is, and he's a great kid too, man.
He is. Great family.
Great family.
Great
awesome. Yes. Yeah. No. And I totally agree. And I've had several. I've had Dave Roberts' son on the show. I had Ty Roberts. Yeah. And you hear, and I had Cameron Carrion. The UTSA women's player, city stud.
Don't mess with her.
No.
Don't mess with her.
Hey, I saw her in middle school, bro.
Yeah.
I saw her in high school. Because in the Catholic schools, and you see a lot of. You've been around a lot of these champs, Arnie. You see something that they just have, and that there's some or have that arrogant air about them. But those kids that I just talked about, they don't have that air around them. You wouldn't be able to tell if they were 200 ranked player or the top 5 or or the kind of players that they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that I really loved and I felt about Kane is that he does. He's got just like what we talked about earlier, having that maybe that put on those black shoes and just go to work mentality.
Right.
And where do you see that helping your team? Because obviously what I'm truly thinking is that the success of your men's program is really going to also help your female program as well.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're, it's the same equation. It's the same recipe, for both. It doesn't matter boy or girl, it's golf and there's a way to play it and there's a proper way to prepare for it. And, one thing, you talk about Kane, Kane's had an up and down career and he was kicking people's butt in high school, and then he started, like anyone's golf career, you kind of have ups and downs. And, I think what Kane finally learned after going, from the mountaintops to the valleys a couple of times is that, there's some stuff that I can take from this valley that can really maybe help me stay up on the mountaintop a little longer. And when he learned those things, he just, it was instant. His decision making was better. He got stronger. The whole pandemic, he just kicked butt in the weight room. There wasn't a day that I was talking to him that he wasn't making time to go put in some work. And it's no coincidence that now he's at the top of leaderboards and he's, pandemic was the time. And I text all of our guys and girls in the middle of it, the recruits. It was like, do not allow this to be the reason why you slack off. I must have spent $400 to $500 over the pandemic hitting nets from my backyard and, upgrading my putting mat and that kind of stuff, and so it's one of those things where, you just got to keep doing it. Like you can't let there be a reason or a viable excuse for you to not get your work in. You're a collegiate golfer and you need to hold yourself to that expectation. So they all want to play good when it's tournament time, but they need to understand and anybody needs to understand that if you're going to play good golf, you need to prepare. The beauty about golf is you're not going to slack your way to a 68 and you're never going to, bust your butt for months and months and shoot 95. If you're doing it effectively, especially at a competition level, you're gonna execute. So you just got to put in that work.
And speaking about Kane, I think, or in speaking with Kane, I asked him. I said, "Well, how come Our Lady of the Lake? Well, he told me, he said a big thing was on him for not trying to put himself out there more.
Yeah.
And he said he did a poor job of trying to get himself recruited. And again, that showed me a lot of maturity as opposed to him blaming others. He put the responsibility and owned up to it, on himself, and which was great to hear for, a young man in their early 20s. But what is seeming like is that, hey, I'm a true believer in Jesus Christ, and I think everything happens for a reason. And it seems
100%.
like I think God put you in his ear and you in his life to kind of help him, because you've been through those ups and downs. You've been in those same shoes as a city champ, in between universities,
yeah.
and the highs and lows of mini tour life, grinding, struggling, wearing the same pants over and over, having those broke days, and you know what? You told me that the other day that's one thing you're really trying to teach him. You're trying to give him that championship mentality, and that mentality also as well to be tough as nails.
Yeah, I mean it's a mentality that leaks into all aspects of your life, right? So if you understand how to be successful, and you stray away from laziness, and you try to find a passion and chase it, it's a lot easier for you to put in a high level of work. And I tell them a lot that if you let these guys and girls beat you on the golf course, and you let them out prepare you, and you let them outwork you, they're going to outwork you on the job circuit as well. And they're going to take your job interview, and they're going to take your promotion, and they're going to take all that other stuff. So it never stops. And unfortunately,
I love it.
In this day and age, we're in that microwave mentality. These guys and girls, they want quick fixes. They want
instant,
whatever. And
instant. They want those instant oats right now.
So anything that's important, anything in life that holds any type of real value is gradual. Relationships, overcoming fears, losing weight, gaining weight, stopping an addiction, whatever the case is, it's not quick. And so that's the beauty with golf. If you can understand the process, and you manage your expectations properly, I think that's huge. You got to manage your expectations. If you're, I'll give you, for instance, I have a 17-month-old son who, he's got a super pack battery on his back. This boy he don't stop, right? He's ball full of energy. And I was chasing him around the living room, and I stubbed my toe a couple days ago. And so my buddy's in town, right? So it's like, well, I got to go play with him. And I told him, I was like, man, I got a stub toe, so I guess I'm playing a low fade today, and it's one of those things where, manage your expectations. I remember when I was younger, I would try to keep my same swing and just push through the pain, when the truth is there's a way to play, every single day. It's going to be different. Nobody plays the same. And so if you try to play the exact same every day, the same way, it's not going to happen. So managing your expectations and knowing that, instead of trying to put a number, saying like, I'm going to go out there and shoot 65 today, how about let's just go out there and, I'm going to hopefully I'll have 65 to 75 individual tests on every stroke. And I just want to take care of everyone and make sure I do it right. And then pick up my head when the round's over. And hopefully it's less than par gave me. So.
Damn, Arnie, dude. I'm feeling you, dude. I'm feeling you as a coach, man. I got 1 year of eligibility left.
Come on.
Can I walk on?
Come on, man.
My grades are shoddy.
I'm gonna put. Okay.
It took me 7 years to get a 4-year degree. All right, bro. But I had a good time. I had a damn good time.
There you go. That's right. That's the memories. Yeah. No, I mean, we hold a pretty tight ship academically too. We've been fortunate to have GPA champion awards, which puts us at one of the highest GPAs in the university out of any sport. So we take pride, man. It's student athlete, not athlete student, right? So we got to make sure that,
hell yeah,
even though we're kicking butt on the golf course, we need to. I tell them, don't get the scores mixed up, man. I don't want golf scores for grades and good grades for golf scores, right? I don't want 70s for your grades and 80s and 90s for your score. So let's make sure we understand the difference.
So what does it look like for your team? Because it looks like, I guess, a lot of the conference championships or anything is played in April, right? If I'm not mistaken, or May.
Yeah.
Or what is it?
We're actually one of the later ones. We're May 2nd through the 4th. We'll be in Victoria, Texas. So
how do you like your chances?
I love our chances, man. I mean, like anything else, you still got to go and execute. But I've been preaching it all year to anybody that'll listen, and for the people that have been around to be able to see some of our team. We're very fortunate. We didn't take too many hits over the pandemic. I believe we got stronger with the pickups that we had, and the guys that we had returning are playing, decent. So we have yet to have a tournament where everybody plays solid. I think that's the hard part. We need to get it to translate from these guys are shooting very, very good scores in practice rounds and in qualifying, but it doesn't always replicate on the golf course. So that's kind of what we're focusing on right now. And, that's probably the hardest part of it all. You got to identify your weaknesses. We're trying to critique what we do wrong after tournaments. And we're having, some open forums with our teams to kind of just open up about, a lot of, like you just said about your golf swing, people get insecure, man. They don't want to see things, and they don't want to hear about what they do wrong. And we kind of force our players to face that head on. And once you get used to it and you find out that other players are having, there's nothing that makes me happier as a coach than to see another player helping another player,
That's
and
the
maybe,
best, man.
it's
That's
like,
the
man,
beauty.
last year I was struggling with that same thing. This is what I did. And then
Yep.
a couple of weeks later, and all of a sudden that's kind of what it is, man. It's a long process. Golf is different than regular sports. We don't have most sports have a couple months season, and then the rest of the year they're in off season. And we have a season in the fall, and then we go, into overdrive in the spring. So not only is it trying to get better, but from the coach's standpoint, we need to manage their practicing, and we need to make sure that we're not overworking them. It's real easy to get mentally fatigued and emotionally exhausted when it starts to get into March and April, and we've been playing golf 5 to 6 days a week, every week and stuff. So we just got to keep them sharp and keep them ready to go. But our guys and our girls are excited, man. They got a high level of talent. It's hard not to see these guys and girls on the range and just be like, wow, like there's a lot of talent there. So as long as they come and they execute, if we get 5 guys this year that are playing solid at the right time, I don't think there's too many teams in the NAIA that can mess with us.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, your kids are pretty damn lucky, dude. They're lucky to have you, and
I appreciate it, Andy.
No, man, I'm telling you, like honestly, I'm gonna enroll. I'm gonna enroll in the fall. All right, and I'm gonna walk
baby.
on. Okay,
Wings
I'm gonna
up.
walk on. Wings up, man. I'm gonna walk on,
man.
man. All right, I can't show this on here just because this is on a different little group setting, but Jerry Montes, I know you. That's how I got it. That's how I initially got in contact with you, my man Jerry.
My man Jerry.
He said, fellow Holy Cross alum. He said, always got your back, Arnie.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's the kind of, I always got Jerry's back too. There was a little while where we were pretty much living together. His junior year, my senior year. He was either I was at his place or he was at mine, and those are the kind of things that you remember. The cool part about Holy Cross and anything like that, you could see people that maybe you don't even know, but it's like, you went to Holy Cross? Oh yeah, all right, man. Like instant brothers.
Brothers.
I got to buy you a drink, or come over here, come meet my wife, or something like that. And so, man, I love all my Holy Cross brothers. There's not a thing I wouldn't do for them if they really needed help or anything like that. And I'm comforted and confident that they would do the same for me. So, yeah, man, Holy Cross through and through.
That's what I want to hear, man. I love to hear that, and I think it's pride, man. Shoot, I try to do that at my school. Like you said, I think peer teaching is probably the best teaching because it's like we're like mom and dads. It's in through one ear, out through the other.
Yeah.
As coaches. But when somebody that you respect or somebody that you have to go, you're in the trenches with, and that you're out there battling with constantly, and they tell you, hey, your setup needs to be more here, or no, you're leaving that club face open, or no, your three technique is this way. Like those kids that are getting those tips, they take them more to heart.
Yeah, definitely.
And for me, like when somebody tells me, one of my peers or one of my other coaching buddies takes it, like when I listen to you or I listen to any good instructor, like me, like I feel like I can coach anything. And it seems like that's for you, like, because you can relate something and, to something else to where, and I'm sure that's why you're real successful with your kids, and why you're going to be such a big asset to Ray at On Par Golf is just how you relay that information and how you relate it.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, I've struggled enough, and most of the stuff that most of the stuff that I teach is just off personal experience. A lot of the things that I teach my players is stuff that I do myself. So I let them into my head about pre-shot routines and how to high percentage shots to hit out of the rough and just different numbers and stuff like that. And the more you know about that kind of stuff, it puts your mind at ease. And so it's really just what it is. The more you have a set of rules of how to get across or around a golf course, it just helps you when it's time to make a decision and to stay consistent. So I appreciate it, Ray. I mean, that's my goal as a teacher, as an instructor, as a friend or anything else. It's just one of those things that we love golf. That's what we want to do.
And this is what I'm sure Ray said from On Par Golf. Arnie's passion for golf is off the chart. Blessed to have him on the OPG team.
I appreciate it, Ray. Thanks, my man. Yeah, I'm excited for the future.
No, and it's so funny. I was speaking with Ray and AJ. I had him on episode 18. That's how far back I had him. And,
okay. I got to check that one out.
Oh man, dude, it's dusty, bro. It's super dusty. I like to think I've upgraded since then, and it's really been nice because I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but like I'm looking at the time that we've been recording, but I'm just like, dude, it really seems like nothing to me because you know what? I want to hear your story. I want to hear your story and know about you because you know what? I was looking, dude, you don't post crap for social media. You just have an account that maybe you posted something like 3 years ago.
Well, you know what happened is that kind of stuff started. I'm not a very social person on that standpoint. I get a bunch of slack from people around. I didn't catch the social media wave. I'm kind of in between that. I relate more to the grandparents probably than I do to the kids when it comes to posting stuff. But, just like I was brought up, I never felt that my life was important enough to tell to other people, So if I'm close with you and we stay in contact enough, you're going to know pretty much everything that goes on with me. But, like my son was born and, I posted, me and my wife posted something small, but it's just kind of like, it's just not us to post a lot of that information. So when it comes to golf and, with how social media has taken off over the past 5 years or so, we're going to have to probably start pushing that form a little bit more. I'm definitely behind the curve, but yeah, when it comes to me, man, I'm not just, throwing everything out there. I try to keep it pretty private.
Well, good, man. I'm sure hoping that everyone's really going to see what type of guy you are, and so that it would get them to go out to On Par Golf and to not be afraid to work with instructors. Because I think a lot of times it's that eliteness, that exclusivity, that makes people not want to walk through those doors. Because I know, like I felt it too, and I think that's what On Par Golf, and that's what you're doing. But hey, all right, I still got several questions I need to ask you that I always ask my guests.
Let's do it.
Favorite golf course in the South Texas area. When I say South Texas, I say Houston down.
Man, favorite golf course. Let's say locally, it's TPC San Antonio out of the Oaks, and then all of South Texas, man. I mean, Laredo Country Clubs. I got a history at Laredo Country Club. I love that course. And then also it's a little further north, but Comanche Trace is my go-to.
I've never played there.
Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of qualifiers out there, and then I played at Shriner University for 1 year, so that's how I was introduced to that course. I got to play there 2 or 3 times a week, every week, and it was amazing. I mean, if you're from San Antonio, you don't mess with bent grass. And
we don't have a lot of it. We don't.
Yeah, it was like putting. Another plug though, Castroville Alsatian Golf Club in Castroville. Miss Reed out there. She's
awesome, man. She seems
amazing.
Really cool.
She's amazing. Her son's a stick. He actually shot the low round today at the pre-qual. I think he fired 64. Curtis Reed, but Miss Reed out there, Laura Reed. She's amazing. If anybody's in that area, y'all need to go check out that golf course. That golf course is probably the furthest south golf course that still overseeds with bent grass. So their greens are top notch in the winter, and they're great right now. So if y'all ever wondering about a place to go play, Castroville Alsatian in Castroville is a place I got to go check it out too.
We were supposed to go play there, and then the freeze happened. We were supposed to
Yeah.
go play there on Wednesday. We had that weekend, and we had 24 guys that were going to go from our group, and because I've never played there, I've always wanted to play there.
Great track.
And I see that lady, Mrs. Reed. I see her always on Facebook talking with people and just really, communicating, and just you can tell like they just love what they do out there.
They do. They make you feel great. There's a hospitality that some courses don't have. You kind of show up and they just kind of get your green fee and you're kind of out the door. They don't want to talk more than they need to. Miss Reed's gonna bring you in, make sure you're not hungry. She'll send you to the restaurant, make sure you don't need water. She's bought in our team pizza, after one of the tournaments. I mean, she's pretty much our complimentary team mom. So yeah, she's amazing, and what they're doing out of Castroville is great. So it's just good to see little courses like that be successful, and they're doing a great job out there.
I've heard nothing but great things from that course. Nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody I've talked to, all of my buddies, oh man, you never been out there. And I think one of the, and why I have like a little association with them is Golf Club of Texas, is because you kind of have that same air when you walk through the door.
Yeah,
it's like another inviting,
golf course, man.
Inviting, very very home feeling, laid back attitude, really accommodating, very welcoming.
Yeah,
Zeke and the guys over there, and Shane, like
Zeke,
man,
Shane, they got a new superintendent over there.
Yeah, Ken, like just top notch staff. I mean, it's like
I'm excited to see the course in about a year where it's going to be.
Oh yeah,
if you saw it a year and a half ago to where it is now,
it was rough. It was
night
rough.
and day. Yeah.
No. Ken and his guys, they're doing some amazing things, and I always think the front desk, like how Zeke and them, like they're just, man, they're great guys to deal with. They really are. They make things easy for guys like me, or whenever I want to have an outing or invite my friends out there, and they've really helped me out by giving me some free rounds to give out to my listeners, man, and stuff like
very
that.
hospitable.
And man, just
and that's really what you want, man. I mean, you want to feel comfortable when you go out there, and I mean, if you know the guys in the pro shop, you're going to be more pressed to go out there and hang out and see how they're doing and stuff, and that people lose sight of that. It's not just about the golf course, but it's about the people who work there. And sometimes you make such good relationships with the people that work there that you go more to hang out and see the people that work there than it is to play the golf course, So
well, you notice that they start to become part of your, like, at least your golf circle, and then maybe then you see them and you're having drinks with them elsewhere outside of the golf course.
That's right.
And things like that.
It's like, whoa.
All right, favorite golf movie.
Favorite golf movie is Greatest Game Ever Played, man. Francis We Met. That's the one, man.
I'm Eddie. Okay, my friends call me Eddie.
There you go, man. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Lemon squeezy.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Let's see what else. Favorite PGA player.
Man, I mean, I got to go with Tiger. That's my man. He's unreal, right? I mean, he's the epitome of what you're trying to do, and what he's been able to do. Although he's had some, ups and downs, but for him to continue to work, and for him, him winning that Masters after everything he went through. It's just. I
cried. I'm not afraid to admit I cried. I teared up a little bit.
I got emotional for sure just to see him do that. I was, just to put fuel to the fire on, kind of being emotional. I was at Republic working an afternoon shift when he won the Masters that Sunday, and it's like you're in awe, right? It's like, oh my God, like he won it again after all this.
Your hero came back.
I mean, seeing the players that he was playing against, emotional,
Yeah, they were waiting for him.
Yeah,
he left. It was funny. He left Bernard Langer hanging, and I was like, yes. I was like, man, screw that
guy. wrong country. No,
yeah, I know, man. I hate him from the Ryder Cups, man.
Yeah, man. They've had our ticket for a little bit, but yeah, man, it would be Tiger Woods. Just for what he's done and how he goes about his business. It's I can't even imagine playing golf at that level with that many cameras on you.
Best cash game player you've played with around town?
God, man, I mean,
I've heard a lot of names out there, and I've seen some of them up close. I have.
Yeah. I got like, I don't know if I can stick one guy, but I mean, guys that I play cash games with that I've always seen just kicking butt. Casey Lim always doing well whenever he plays in those things. Kyle Pritchard, Curtis Reed, those guys. I played there was a couple. It was like an organized cash game that they were having for a little bit. I think they were trying to get a tour up started locally right before the pandemic. But Tim Hobby, I played with Tim a couple times, and he's a little older. He's an instructor out at Santerra, but he's got some great accolades. He's played in professional events, I believe. I don't want to misquote, what he's done, but I believe he's played in some majors on the PGA Tour, and I don't know exactly his age, but he can go. He's like a little machine, man. He hits it to the fairway, hits the green. Next thing you know, you're making the turn and he's beating you by 4. It's like, whoa, what the hell happened?
What just happened?
Yeah, but yeah, he's impressive.
All right, best player that you've seen here in the city.
Man, best player that I've seen in the city, man. Abraham Answers, played a lot here. I've been fortunate to see him play. He's very impressive. Another just machine-like golf game, just fairways, greens, putts.
He's solid. His game. I love his
man.
game, and I'm really happy for him that he had all the success he had at the President's Cup against the United States, and then even they did take his words out of context when he did. Yeah. He wanted to face Tiger. I mean, what are you going to say? Exactly. Exactly. Like, he got Tiger. Oh, Tiger gave him what he wanted. And I'm like, shoot, you know what? Like, he played with Tiger. He did.
Heck yeah.
He didn't stare. He stared right into his face, and and he went toe to toe with him.
And the truth is that nobody else on that team was saying they wanted Tiger. So
nobody.
Him calling him out, it's like cool.
And I think next to Sun JM or Sun God, I think it was Abraham Answer had Sun God. I think he had probably the best President's Cup, and it was good to see because that guy. Hey man, out of Reynosa, there out of Macau or out of he's from he went to Sherryland High School. He went to school with my brother-in-law, and I'm trying to get.
Went to Sherryland.
I'm trying to get
players.
I'm trying to get Abe on the show, man. Like I've had some Q&A with him right afterwards, but man, I'm so bummed about the VTO this year because
I know
unless you're Golf Network, unless you're the Golf Channel or NBC,
they're not letting you in.
They're not letting me in, and that's because I do my little gigs with Sports Tonight with Hector Ledesma at a Sports Tonight, and man, I would get all access. I'm here in media tent. I'm behind the ropes. I'm in I'm everywhere. And
that's awesome.
I spoke to Tony Finau. I spoke to Andrew Landry. I spoke to Morgan Hoffman. I spoke to Abe. I spoke to all these guys. Graham McDowell's a dick. I will still always say that till my dying day. He's a freak. He's a freaking dick.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he is. He's a jerk, man. And I think I heard David Orgeron, talk about him, saying how nice of a guy he was. And I said, man, that guy's a freaking jerk. He walked right by me, and I was trying to talk to him. But maybe because he knew me. Maybe because, I did. Yeah. I did. I said, sir. Yeah, he walked right by me. But Tony Finau, cool as hell. Pat Perez, again, like those guys.
Perez. His dad graduated from Holy Cross. I don't know if you knew that.
No way.
Pat Perez's dad graduated from Holy Cross.
You're full of it.
Yeah, go fact check me, but I'm pretty sure I'm almost positive that's the case. Yeah, he came into San Antonio back in like 2000, and I believe he was just on tour for a little bit, and he came back to San Antonio. He did like a little exhibition, 3-hole exhibition at BRAC with the city junior champion boys and girls, and I believe that was put on through his dad, and I think his dad was associated with MAGA. And they got that going on at Brackenridge. So that was a while ago. We're talking like 2004, or something like that.
Yeah, somebody asked
when that happened.
Somebody asked right here, what year did Pat's dad graduate?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go check that out. But I'll make sure and get it to you whenever I do find out. Because that was a pretty cool thing.
Dude, he's a great guy. Like
He is,
like
man.
what
He's a
you
great
really
dude.
what you see out there like is
That's right.
exactly how he was. You know,
Yeah.
some guys put up a front like Joaquin Neiman. He's a little shit too. He is.
Is
He's
he?
a little he's a little shit, man. He is. And I was just like I was talking with him, and you know I have my phone there recording some Q&A because I post them on the show, and I was just like I just turned it off and I just said I'm out of here, dude. Like I'm
That's
out,
funny, man.
like mid conversation. I'm just he goes,
Yeah.
what is OB? What is OB? What does that mean? I was, dude, I'm out of here, guy.
Say it means out of bounds. That's what it means.
That's it, man. All right, let's see what else. Last thing, what is? I have a little segment called Beyond the Stakes. What is something that somebody can do to get under your skin during a round? Is it maybe like say make a noise as your putt is about to go in and it lips out, or is it like hey, there's a lot of meat on that bone? What is what is something that can get you kind of irked or pissed off as you're playing?
Yeah, I like to take pride in saying that there's not too much that can kind of get under my skin. I think if I get under my skin, or if anything gets under my skin, it's me and my reaction to certain things. But my goal every round is to not let outside variables affect what I do and my process. So I'm usually the one trying to throw those kind of jabs at other people. But one thing that I do that I know gets under people's skin, and if it was done to me consistently, it probably would eventually get under my skin. But whenever you hit shots that aren't really that good and people are like, oh, good shot, and it's kind of like, no, it wasn't a good shot.
I hate that.
And so that, I mean, I do that consistently, with people that I'm playing with, just to throw a jab, especially if I see them, kind of react like they didn't like it. It's like, hey man, good shot. And you just keep doing it all around, and then eventually they're gonna start pulling their hair out. So, but yeah, that's probably my thing.
Okay, that's good to know, man. It's good to know. So when I do play with you, I'll be like, hey, good shot when you're OB and we can't find it out there at GCT. All right, I got a couple last two questions. Let's see right here. Last two questions. Favorite golf memory?
Ah, man, I got two of them. First one, in order, I was 13 years old at Almas Basin Golf Course, and I beat my dad for the first time straight up. I made a 40-foot eagle putt on the last hole to beat him by one. So he was, I think he shot 77, and that put me at 76. And I mean, I was jumping around. I probably ran all the way to the pro shop, like just pumping my hands.
Was it on 18? Was it on 18 and almost?
Yeah. I mean, he pretty much told me on the way up there, he goes, all right, man, like only way you got a chance if you make it. And then it just somehow snuck in, and once again, I mean, it turned into, him just as happy as I was and congratulating me and all that kind of stuff. And for me, that was the first time I'd ever beaten him at anything, and so it's a memory I'll always remember. Fast forward a couple more years, I've had a lot of great memories in golf, man. I've had a lot of professional great memories, but winning the city championship that Sunday was Father's Day, and my dad was on the bag, so it was pretty cool to win that and kind of get that for him for Father's Day.
Damn. Where was it at?
It was at Republic, right? It was at the Republic, but kind of to tell you, kind of jump on that real quick before, I'm sure we're exceeding time here, but
that's all right, man. Hey, all I got is time, bro.
Cool, man. Yeah. So my dad, you talk about believing in God and, things, the process kind of works more and God's ways aren't always your ways. Right. My dad would always talk about when he was younger playing, wanting to win a city championship. And he used to, he'd play in the city and he wasn't ever able to get up there and win one. But he used to tell me that he would be practicing or he'd be walking into Brack and he kind of just, subtly just be like, God, it'd be cool to get on that list. It'd be cool to see my name on that list. And, it ended up not happening. And then, make it full circle. His son ends up winning. We have the same name. And he told me that after it was done, he's like, I'm looking on this list and it's kind of funny because I remember about 30 years ago, kind of praying to God, hoping that I could win one of these one day. And I was never able to do so, but my prayer was just to see my name on the list. And so, God's ways aren't always our ways. You know what I mean? So for him to do that, we've got a picture framed with both of us with the name on the list and stuff. And, little things like that, man. I mean, they don't go away. And although I might not, I'm still going to try until I can't, but if I do, great. And if I don't make the PGA, or make it to a point to where I can play full time or anything like that, the memories along the way are completely sufficient to allow me to step away and not have any types of regrets or second guesses. So it's just things like that. I talk a lot about my dad and golf related, but it's, I feel I'd be wrong not to mention my mom as well. She's been a rock for me. And it's kind of like, keep your face and hold your tears in front of your dad, and then as soon as he turns away, it's like, mom, and so that's kind of how I was when I was younger. And between both of them, they were just the perfect parents, man. I had surrounding my grandma was like a second mother to me. I called her Mom Betty. And it's just one of those things. Every time I have a tournament, even to this day, I'll get text messages from both of them. And sometimes we'll pray collectively on a group call before we tee off and stuff. I mean, I take pride in doing that with our guys and our girls. We get together and we have a good prayer, kind of put things in perspective before we go out there and play. And when you're doing things right, or at least you're trying to, it makes those things a lot more rich when you can be open and kind of just be human, man. People do good, people do bad, as long as we keep going and we try to be good every day. That's all we can strive for.
Man, dude, you have me kind of speechless right here, because I always try to kind of screen who I think I want on the show. And again, I do this because I freaking love this game. This game has taught me so much about myself. And really, there's several reasons why I do this show. One of the reasons is because I said it time and time again, and I don't mind saying it's my damn show, so I get to say it. It's a way to keep me close to my dad. It's just like golf is that's our thing. That's our binder. We're on the phone. He lives in Corpus still. He's on we're on the phone. What are we doing? Hey guy, did you get on the course? Hey, no, I was just hitting wiffle balls in the backyard, and just, talking about the PGA, talking about the tournament. He goes, hey man, sabes que? What's up with the VTO, dude? Man. And so like hearing that and hearing those memories, like, man, Arnie, you're really making me think that I'm like, man, I did a good job. I did a good job. And I always try to vibe with my guests. I'm always trying to,
man.
Always trying to make sure that the guest is right for the show, because you know what? I haven't always done that. I'm not, I'm just trying to put stuff out there, but I want to put good stuff out there. I want to expose people like gems in the city, like you, like what you're doing at Our Lady of the Lake, what you're going to do, man. And what you already started to do for Ray and for y'all's team at On Par Golf. And dude, I wish you nothing but success with you and your team this year, and then the upstart of your female program, because you know what? I have 2 daughters, and I would hate for somebody to try to limit them on what they can do. I want them to see that men aren't just the ones to be in power,
That's
like,
right.
hey, it's like, mama gave birth to me, so mama can take my ass right back out,
Heck yeah,
and so,
boy.
And so I really appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, what you're doing for your university. And because, it's not easy, dude. It's not easy. And I'm sure now that you're a father, you kind of see things a lot different.
A lot different, yes, sir.
And you have like a greater appreciation. And I'm going to tell you, dude, man, freaking, it's been awesome, man. And I thank you so much for your time, dude. I really do.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate it, Andy. I mean, this is my first podcast, or this is I don't even know if I'm saying it properly, if it's a video cast or what. But yeah, man, I mean, I love talking golf, and, hopefully some of the stuff that I said today can either resonate or help anybody that was listening. And yeah, I mean, On Par, if any of y'all have any questions, or if any of y'all are looking for instruction, we're happy to help. We're out there at Mission, Del Lago, and Cedar Creek. And, we're really excited for what the future's holding for not only for us, but just San Antonio golf altogether. So a lot of good things, man. Our Lady of the Lakes, I'm very blessed to be in the positions that I'm in. We're just trying to be successful. If we can just impart into kids and into our students, some good stuff and generate some good relationships, then, that's a win at the end of the day.
No, man, you know what? You don't have to try to do it. You're already doing it. And thank you so much for being on the show, man. I know a lot of my buddies and a lot of your friends have chimed in right here because I'm watching my iPad. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my phone, iPad, because I have 3 different things going on at the same time. If you wouldn't mind just sticking around as I close up, man, just so I could finish up with you, I'd appreciate it.
For sure, bro. No doubt.
All right,
Thanks a lot
guys.
for having me, Andy.
No, thank you so much, guys. Hey, you can hit up Arnie Martinez at On Par Golf. He's out there at Cedar Creek. And hey, make sure, guys, follow Our Lady of the Lake University Athletics on Facebook. Maybe you'll see some more pictures of our boy Kane and Arnie out there winning some tournaments. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the support. I know we went a little bit later than usual, and it was just such a great talk with Arnie. He's such a great dude in this game, and man, I really love building relationships with people that are involved heavily in the city, in the golf scene here in San Antonio. So please, like I said, follow Our Lady Lake University, follow On Par Golf, Ray Garza, he's the head guy over there. Thank you so much for everybody tuning in. I really appreciate y'all's support.